Hey folks, time once again to do some retro CSS battles. These are daily targets from the past. We're looking at May 2024. This is May 16th, May 17th, and May 18th. These are available to you if you do a pro, or rather plus membership on CSSBattle.dev. I really enjoy them, and I've been recording videos of doing them. So let's get right to it. Let's go for the nested template. The nested template uses the HTML and body elements to create these shapes, and it might be useful here because it looks to me like we can do a border solid of the color and then an extent and do a lot of this. Now the question is, will it work? 42, 50, 40, 45, 35, 36, 37, no, 33, 31, 32, 32 could be right. And how about 40 pixels? And that gets you margins on the HTML element, background of light blue. Here's our border, which is great. And now we need a radial gradient. When we need the keyword circle, because otherwise it will conform to that rectangle. We need dark blue, we need transparent, we need dark blue again, and then we need transparent again. And that's how you do circles. Now we need some extents here. We need some units to color stop to. So you put on the diff, view, and then set more color stops. Looks like 40, 60, 0, 80 pixels, and then the final color stop looks like it's thicker on the outside edge, 90, which you can see very obviously, and that's a solution. My tendency is to use gradients for a lot of solutions because I really enjoy doing those CSS gradients, and radial gradient is certainly a great circular one. Minify and then unit replace. I think we got one unit there, yeah, that will replace down, and that's it for that one. All right, and then I've gotten a higher score than I've gotten in the past. Each one of these is an excuse for me to revisit ones that I've already done and do them in a more efficient way. Every time I do them, I seem to learn a new thing. All right, what do we got here? So we got things that we're gonna rotate. In theory, we could create a single element and then clip path all of these little dealy boppers, but that's gonna be pretty painful. So let's create, I'm going to use my blank template, which uses a paragraph tag. I'm going to put white on the body, and I'm going to try and make just the thin slice down the middle. I'm going to see what widths and margins I need to create an element that is just that, and then decide what techniques I need to do to make that work. So let's give this a height. It's got to be tall, 230, 40, and then let's set our margins to, so it might be 240 tall. It can be hard to see the pixel differences of the points of things like this, but I think this will work. 1, 20, 30, 40, 50, 65, 66, 67, 68. So looking at that closely, I think 66, 67. All right. So then what? Then I kind of think a clip path is appropriate. And for that we need a polygon, and that's going to be a set of points, and we'll use percentages. So the top center is that, and then 100% is on the right hand side, and then we'll go down 30 pixels or something, And then let's go directly to the middle and see if that's going to be helpful to us. 50%, 50%. So that's the direct middle, and that shows us, so this is the shape we've created. Let's see if we can get that second point correct. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so this points out that maybe we need these margins to be a little different. 38, 7, 68, 9. So 169 might be correct. Well, no. No, I don't think it's correct. Yeah, so we need to actually be lower. So this number needs to be lower. 39, let's say, and then decrease this margin. 8. That could be good. And let's go ahead and do some of these other numbers and see if we can go, if that's actually to the center, or is in fact this shape only, what, 6 points potentially? So instead of going to 50%, 50%, which would be the very center of it, we go to 0 and then 201 pixels, and then down to 50%, 100%, and then 100%, 201 pixels again, and then 0, 39 pixels. So that clip path is not bad, but not perfect either. Can we get away with that? Maybe. How about 40? Is that better? And then how about we adjust these margins? 39, 8, 7. Hey, that's pretty good. So then instead of this white, let's do a radial gradient, which is going to be a circle, transparent to white. So that's what that looks like. 20 pixels and then 0. A little bigger, 30. All right. Then if we make a new one, ooh, so so the problem that we've got at the moment is that yeah, we got some problems. So here's our problem. here's my problem. 40. Okay. So right now, margins is what's defining our width, and I fear that we're going to need to absolutely position these things, or to use some other technique to force them so that when we rotate them, we can come from the correct axis, from the correct point. And I would like that to be absolutely positioned to do that. That means I need to do some changes. Okay. So let's do a width of 10, and then increase until it works. So 50, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so 50 is the width. Okay. And I did too much undo. Okay. So now that we've got that, if we undo this margin, we can actually fake it if we do. No, we don't want to fake it. All right. Let's go ahead and do a position absolute left 50 top 30 or something. Oh, why would it be left 50? It's like 167, right? 167. 170, 73, 4, and then this number is like 20, 4, 5. Okay, so that looks pretty good. At 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 14. Okay. So on the tricky side, I also feel like this might be at 200. There we go. So okay, so that looks pretty clean. So now we got absolute, and we add second and third ones, B and C. So now we're going to do a rotate. B, we can just do rotate 60 degrees maybe. And then for C, minus. And then for giggles, we could actually do the rotate here of dash dash of a rotate colon bar dash dash R or 0, and then have these be dash dash R. Yeah. I have done this one before, not in a very long time, so that's why it was fairly straightforward to solve for. In the non-retro CSS battles, I always do them completely fresh. I don't look at them before. There have been a few times where I had technical problems and then recorded somewhat later, and so I actually did glance at it, but I'm always looking at them fresh when I do the dailies. New. You can see that when you see retro CSS battle, retro daily challenge, I think is what I put on the thing. So that is a solution. I'm going to minify and unit replace, and then so what that's doing is minifying this code as much as it possibly can, and then I'll submit a final to the back end of CSS Battle. And that's a good score. All right, next. This is a cute one. Is this like a cat? It's a sort of abstracted cat. What's the way to do this? There was one the other day that I did where, so you can create, so I'm going to do blank template here again. And if you do a border, so, okay, so we'll put the, this background, the dark purple is the background. And then let's create this shape. And then what about a border? Solid, border solid, border color, border width rather. So border widths here, we might do 40 pixels, 0, and if we then do border color, we might be able to get this first one. With that, so right now it's the same as the background, so you can't see it. If we do a second, there it is. So I think this is the way to do thing number 1. All right, so let's set some margins to, and we'll do the margins on this. So what we'd like to do is get that aligned, and using margins constraint, 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, 42, and then down 4, 5. So that's kind of interesting. So we're too wide. Our borders are too much. Let's try 30. And 30. Okay. No, the first border has to be more. 40. There we go. All right. So we're too high. We need to be, this top margin needs to be more. How about 50? All right, and then this then can be 30. There we go. I think we got it. So this height is now wrong. Let's get the height right. 70, 75. All right, that's the first piece. That's just the first piece. Or is there another way to do this? Not sure. So this shape here is a little on the wonky side, right? Like, what's the right way to do that? Like, let's create another element, another paragraph tag, and that one, can we use the same technique? The fact that it's another paragraph tag means we're going to have to unset whatever we set, right? So let's address that second one. We'll do a background of red. You see that we've got some problems there. I think I can do border color and just this brighter color, and then do a height of 20, and then a background of transparent, and get some of that. Okay, and then margin, maybe it's 0, 142. But it's not. Okay, what do we need to do here? We still have the problem of this underneath business, which is kind of a bummer. But if we can utilize this, let's do a -10, 20, 30. Okay, and then height 30, 40, 50, 40, 40, 45. And then the border widths, 25 pixels. Or is it thicker? Oh, it's 30. And then a little less tall. Almost. How about 40 on the top? How about 45 on the top? Okay, and then this height needs to be different. So we're adjusting. Okay. So what now? Now we got this. So opposite of what I normally like to do, I've chosen the hardest part last. It makes me want to do a conic gradient. So let's do a conic gradient, huh? To do that, we've got from, no, not from 130. No, 135 is what I want. This brighter color, no, yeah, the brighter color, 90 degrees, and then the darker color. That's kind of what I want. The angles are probably wrong, right? So now if I do, what, 0, -10 pixels, 20, 30, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So that's not bad to get that. Can I use the okay, so well, so the lazy way, and maybe that's exactly what I'm going to do today, is to say, okay, linear gradient on top of this, and I can cover it with, you know, whatever color I want, and then transparent, which is sort of interesting there. And just do 50%. Or no, it's the opposite. We want 50%. And then cover it with the yellow, 50, 60, like so. 59, could be 8, could be 9. And then, so it's not yellow, obviously. That might be the easiest thing. We can also adjust that background size, and then also add some ats inside the conic gradient, but this might be good enough, and that is good enough. I'm going to go with that. So once again, that is what the background is with this conic gradient so coming around at 135 degrees and then 90 degrees of arc of that lighter purple, or the middle purple on this particular design, and then that 90 degrees, literally, Pythagorean theorem and whatnot, and then the rest of it is the dark color, and then use background position, which is what these are, to put them in place. All right, so let's minify and unit replace, and that's a fine way to do it. Yes, definitely improvements can be made, but this is the way we attack these things. They're a lot of fun. And that's a better score than I've gotten in the past. Could there be optimizations? Yes, there could. For example, well, let's just do them. Var --m or this margin set. I've already minified, unfortunately, so it's a little harder to read this. But that's --m on the second one. Border color could also be a variable. Var -c or that value. Where's the border color? Border color, there it is. And so this is this --c. And it still works. Height could be a variable. Var -h or 75. And then once I minify, it's a little harder to see, right? That's the trick of a lot of things. Border width we need, and so we'll call that var -w or that set of numbers. And so this can be replaced with -w. Background, now background is kind of the interesting one here because we don't need it at all. I believe that if we do a var G or this, all we have to do is do a --G colon and unset that background, and then we have an invalid value in there, or an empty value, and it short circuits that. I'm not sure how reliable that is, but that's a kind of a trick that I've noticed, at least in CSS instance. It's not really good code to just leave this dangling thing here and no value in it, but it seems to work. All right, that's enough. That's 3 for today. This is May 16th and 17th and 18th, and those are new high scores for me. Probably not the top scores ever, but that's just fine. I do them in such a way that I enjoy them and I have fun with them, and it's a good practice for using borders and backgrounds and margins and setting heights of things and thinking about margins and paddings and all the different aspects of HTML, because HTML and CSS are great. Hope you're having a great day. Go make a web page, man. It's great. Man, go make a web page regardless of how you identify. He, she, they, whatever. Make a web page. It's a great day. Bye.